Hi, everybody. Today we're going to do the vegetable beef soup. I did go ahead. It takes so long to do a cheesecake and stuff. I did not want to do it. It just would have been too long of a live. So I'm going to go over here first and show you. Let me see if I can get this angled right. Oh, here we go, right there. Well, nope. Sorry, guys. There it is. Okay. This I did it in a square pan because I can't find any of my pie pans that I had that were really deep. I don't know where I put them. So anyway, this is just a regular cheesecake, but I do have a pineapple topping in the refrigerator for it. With this, what I did, I took a package and a half, I'll show you. There was 3 of these to a box, and I took, which is a package and a half, and I ground it up in the food processor thing, chopper thing, or you can take a rolling pin, put it in a bag, and roll over it. And I took not quite 2/3 cup of the sugar and put it in there with the fresh graham crackers, and I took a stick and about 1/3 of butter and melted it, and I worked that into that, and I pressed that in the bottom of a grease. This was grease in the bottom, as you can see here. I think you can see the bottom of that. So, and it's still really hot. And I baked it for about 10 minutes, took it out, and I took 2 packages of cream cheese. Let me see. A teaspoon of vanilla, 2 whole eggs, and I used, it was a 1/2 cup of sugar. So anyway, you want your cream cheese and your eggs at room temperature. And you're going to take and beat the cream cheese with the sugar, and then you're going to drizzle in the vanilla because you want that really smooth. Beat it at a low speed, don't do it at high speed. Then you're going to take and add your 1 package, the cream cheese. I'm sorry, I chose wrong. Take the cream cheese and beat it to get it soft with the sugar, both packages. Do it at a low speed, and then add the teaspoon of vanilla. And then you're going to take, after that's pretty smooth, then you're going to take and beat in your room temperature eggs, which is 2, 1 at a time. By that time, your crust will be done. You can take it out and you can pour that filling right in and put it back in. You're going to bake this at about 350 for 20 minutes, and I turned it down to 325 for another 15, 20 minutes. And what you want to do, it can be a little jiggly in the middle, which this is, you can't really see it from it, but you want all this outer surface. I use a knife to check it with, and it had just a little bit of play in the middle because it'll finish cooking just sitting out here. So I took it off those mats. It's really hot on the bottom. Now, the pineapple topping, I took 1 large can of crushed pineapple. I used not quite 3/4 cup of sugar, and I used 2 to 3 tablespoons of cornstarch that I took and dissolved in just about 1.5 tablespoons of water. And you're going to put that together on the stove, and you're going to let that stand there and watch it really carefully. You don't want it to burn or scorch on the bottom, and it'll start thickening. And I have it in the refrigerator because if this gets cool enough, that's what we're going to put on top of it. And that's going to be your pineapple cheesecake. I don't want to really put fruit like that in a cheesecake base unless it's chocolate, because sometimes it won't set up. So, and this is a very, like I said, this is a very basic, easy cheesecake, and it's very rich. So anyway, that's where we're at on the cheesecake. So take you over to the stove now. And for, let me see here, the vegetable beef soup. Let me see here. I'll get you. I think you've been pretty well. Yeah, see, things maybe they're like that. Yeah. Okay. I've got the, in here, I've got 2 pounds of the lean ground beef in here, just like I did for the goulash, and a tablespoon of olive oil. And I put a little salt and pepper in here, and I'm cooking that meat down. But I'm not going to worry about it getting cooked completely through because I'm going to add some chicken broth to it and let it finish cooking in that chicken broth. And I have, in this bowl, I have 1 can of red beans, I have a can of black beans, and I have a can of green beans. Drain them and rinse them. And I have about a half a bag of frozen corn and half a bag of peas that was left in the freezer. And I had like a handful of the little frozen sliced carrots. So I just put them in here, which this will be added in at the last because this stuff is all basically cooked. Make sure you rinse those, everything really well. So it gets rid of the salt and the juice and that, sometimes that metal surface of the pan. And I have this is a Good Value brand, but it's the vegetable. It's like your V8 kind of juice, but it's, anyway, I've got it to put in. And in this bowl, I have about 1/4 of a head of cabbage. I took and cut up chunks. I have about 1/3 of a bag of baby spinach. I have 3 little red potatoes I took and peeled and I diced about like this. I have an onion I chopped up, and I have about half a package of baby carrots like this. And that's what's in here. And this is what will go in first to cook as soon as the meat here is a little bit done, just about there. And I do have 2 bouillon cubes with this cup of water here. That I'm dissolving it now. I had it in the microwave. And I did start the meat. It hadn't done much before I went live. So I don't have to keep you all here for long because I know it gets boring if you have to be too long waiting on things. And just go ahead and pour that in. The meat's still got a little bit of red texture, a little bit of redness to it. Like I said, it's going to finish cooking out. I mean, most of the red's out of there. It's going to finish cooking out in this chicken broth. And as soon as this gets done, I'm going to take and add half that bottle of the V8 juice. I'm going to let it get hot, and I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to add the veggies that take a while to cook, like the carrots and your potatoes. And I go ahead and just put the cabbage in. The spinach doesn't really have to cook that long, but I just throw it in because I like it to get the taste in there. Anyway, we'll do that like this. Is my recipe. There is other things you can add if you want to, to it. But that's where I am. This is what I do. And of course I taste everything as I go. So let me go ahead and put this about. All right, I got about half that bottle of that in here. And this is in with the chicken broth, the 2 bouillon cubes and the cup of water dissolved, and the 2 pounds of the extra lean ground beef, a tablespoon of olive oil, and a little bit of salt and pepper. Take it easy on the salt, like I said, guys, because you can always add more salt. Can't hardly take it out. And that meat's in them. I'm going to let that cook for, about 5 minutes. So it brings up, it kind of stew, gets hot. And then I will taste it. Apologize for not doing the fried rice and the pimento cheese spread the other day, but I was not feeling good. So I said I'd just wait and do it. But I'm still not up to par, but I feel a lot better. And so I'm doing the veggie soup because this is good for you. And I was going to make it anyway because this is what I felt like I wanted. So anyway, I will do the pan fried rice tomorrow. Go ahead if you're going to cook with me and cook your rice off today and get it cold in the refrigerator. Rinse it good before you cook it. And then you're going to take and let it get cool down. You can put it out on a tray or cookie sheet or something, let it cool down. Then put it in a bowl and cover it, or covered container or baggie, whatever, for tomorrow. And then I've just got some chopped up ham. I have some frozen peas and carrots. I have some shredded cabbage in the refrigerator. course, onion. I'm going to use some garlic. I have soy sauce, sesame oil. And I'm probably going to put just a tad bit of ginger in there, but we'll go from there. And then for the pimento cheese spread, you're going to need about a half a package of about 4 ounces of the cream cheese. So about 8 ounces of shredded sharp cheese, a little jar of a small jar of the pimento chopped up, and some mayonnaise. And of course, we're going to use a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's how we're going to make the cream cheese spread to use on sandwiches instead. And then Wednesday, I'm going to do they're thin, not the regular ones, like the breakfast thin pork chops. I'm going to fry those. We're going to have homemade mashed potatoes. We're going to have canned peas with butter, salt, and pepper in them. And I'm going to do a pumpkin cream cheese roll. And I will probably go ahead and get the filling made and the cake part cooked and rolled so it can be cooling, and just show you how to put it together. Because it would take too long. I'm just trying to give you all the general idea of what to do in these. Now, when I start doing some of the breads and fudges and the chocolate covered cherries, and I get into a little bit more of that kind of cooking for this fall, then I will cook all the way through on those from scratch all the way. So just to let you all know. And I can't see the chat yet because I got to watch this. Thanks everybody for being here. And like I said, again, this is your 2 pounds of lean ground beef and a tablespoon of olive oil. And I put a little bit of salt and pepper, and I took and browned it almost all the way through. And I added a cup of hot water that had 2 small bouillon cubes in it. Now I added a half a bottle of this V8, generic for the V8 juice to that. And like I said, it's just about finished cooking. I want to make sure it's got all the, the raw taste of the meat out. And then I'm going to add these other veggies. Let me see. It's there, but like I said, watch your salt, because you will be shocked at how much salt is in bouillon cubes and other things. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper though, because I like a lot of pepper in soups and stuff like that. So anyway, and there's a lot of salt content in that V8 juice. So anyway, or sodium, I should say. If you can find the low sodium on anything when you're cooking from scratch, it's a lot better, because you have more control over your salt content. And like I said, please make sure you check the dates on everything. Here lately in the stores, they're not rotating stuff. They're letting stuff stay too long on the shelves and close to expiring. You want to especially watch any of your canned products, any of your flour, your sugar, baking powder, baking soda, anything like that that's labeled, any of your baking if you're using pancake mixes, cake mixes, if you're using cake mixes and you're not doing from scratch, cocoa, anything like that, chocolate chips, guys, even syrup, pancakes, please, please, please check the dates on them, because I have been shocked at how much stuff I've found that's really been out of date here lately. It's horrible that, because they should have a lot longer date on that stuff. So anyway, like I said, here is, I'm going to go ahead and dump this in. And it looks like a lot, but it's going to cook down a lot, because that's your cabbage. This is your cabbage, the onion, some leaf spinach, and 3 little potatoes. And I put about a half a bag of the little carrots, I'll show you, like this in there, because they cook pretty fast. And I've got this up between, a little bit between medium high and medium. And I'm going to let this cook till it cooks some of that down for a few minutes. And then I'm going to add, I have, or I should say till they're almost fork tender. I have 1 can of the, let me show you this thing. I have a can of red beans that I drain, a can of black beans, small ones, a can of just regular green beans like this here. And then I had like I don't know, maybe a third of a package of these little sliced carrots like this from one day and something I put them in. So I just threw those in, and I had half a bag of peas and a half a bag of corn that was frozen. So that's in here. But make sure, like I said, you drain and rinse those canned vegetables, whatever you do. It's a must. So anyway, that'll take us through Wednesday. Pork chops, mashed potatoes, peas, and that pumpkin cheese roll. And of course, I'm doing the hand fried rice tomorrow. Pimento cheese spread. I don't know, maybe Friday, I might just do some appetizers to show you all some things. I have some appetizers that are pretty good. I'll let you know. I'll schedule it and let you know what I'm going to do. And I'm trying to think where I want to go from there with some dishes and stuff. I do want to make some cabbage rolls. I might even do those Sunday, just make some stuffed cabbage rolls. That I will have to be, you can figure that's going to be about 45 minutes. But I can tell you what y'all want to do if you want to cook with me. Take your head of cabbage and loosen the head right around where the core is and put it in some hot, a little bit of oil, a little bit of salted water until you start getting those leaves where you can pull them leaves off, and they get, just cook them tender, just tender, so they can be cooled and ready to roll. And then I'm going to be taking, you can go ahead and cook off a couple of, I'd say about a cup and a third of cooked rice and get it cool, because that's going to go in your cabbage rolls. And then it's going to be basically the ground beef and, some onion, a little bit of garlic, tomato sauce. And then we'll roll them, and I'll put them more tomato sauce thinned out on the top. I'll show you all that. And then, of course, you have your seasonings in there, too. Well, I think I'll just go ahead and schedule that for Sunday. Just go ahead and do the cabbage rolls. I know it's going to be a long weekend because of it being Labor Day weekend. So I'll decide. I may do, I don't know, maybe that Monday do something, baked beans and some deviled eggs, and make maybe a German potato salad this time. I'll just wait and see what I'm going to do in some kind of meat. If the ribs aren't too bad, I might get some ribs and do that. I'm not sure. If not, I might just get some chicken breast, and we may just do some barbecue chicken. I don't know. Chicken, maybe some kind of that I can do in the oven. But I'll let y'all know. I'll post that. So anyway, I'm letting this go ahead. You can see the vegetables are starting. I hope y'all can see this first starting. Let me see if I can show you a little bit better. Yeah, you can see down there. I got to learn how to get better at this stuff. But anyway, there you go. The veggies are starting to soften, like that cabbage and the spinach. So it's starting, it's cooked down. Of course, your peas and your carrots aren't going to, but those veggies will. And the meat's already cooked in here now. So again, I'm going to taste this, and I'm going to add a little bit more of that vegetable broth there. And I'm going to add some of these in about 10, 15 minutes, the rest of these vegetables. You can see here. Yeah, that's where I want it. Hold on. Ooh, I got a little bit of pepper. Hold on. Wow, I didn't have that pepper stirred in. I got a little spoonful of it. Yeah, remember to do that. Stir your pepper, because I didn't do it. Whew, I got a little bit of that. Anyway, while this is doing this, I'm going to take you over here, and I'm going to see where I'm at on the cheesecake. There you go. It's cooled down quite a bit, but I'll show you this pineapple topping that I made. Still a bit too warm. But this is what the topping will look like that you're going to put on this. It's a pineapple cheesecake. Somebody wanted to know. It only had it baked in a square. This is a can of crushed pineapple, large can, like I said, and it has, I'm just going to tell you to use sugar. So, well, however you think you want it. And some cornstarch to thicken it. And put it in the refrigerator and let it get cold. See, it's about like this. Hold on, I'm going to taste it. I tasted it earlier, and it tasted pretty good. I already give you the ingredients earlier. It's really good, and still a little barely warm from when I made it. But anyway, I give you the ingredients on it earlier, so I'm going to kind of just set that there while this is going to finish cooling off. That'll go on top of your cheesecake, and you'll put it in and keep it covered in the refrigerator. Try to use your cheesecake within, I wouldn't keep it any more than 3 days. Probably won't last that long for most people, but you can kind of go around the edges like this of your cheesecake. Some people do it in the rounds. I couldn't find my pan, so the ones I wanted to use. So I did it in a square. It's the thing. It's just like, these are just going to be pineapple cheesecake bars. So, but I do have raw egg in here, so they do have to be cooked. Like I told you, I did the crust. Hold on a minute. The crust. Check my best. That's cooking now. Okay. On the crust, like again, I said I took these. They come 3 to a pack. I get the Good Value brand. They're not even $2. I use 1.5 of these. So you've got enough in one package of graham crackers to make 2 bottoms for your cheesecake. So there's enough for 2 different cheesecakes there. And then I used about 1 1/3 of melted butter in there. And I did put, I think it was right at 2, let me see, it was, I think on that I put, I think like 1/4. I think it was not quite, it's not even 1/2. I mean, it was probably about, I don't know, I'm going to say 1/4 and then 1/8 of the sugar in there. And I put it into graham crackers because I didn't measure, guys, I just guessed. I put a little pinch of salt in there, of course. I forgot to say that earlier. And then just blended that until you can mash it. And I put it, you can see on the sides here a little bit and in the bottom. You don't have to take it all the way to the top because this isn't going to go all the way to the top. And then your filling again is your 2 8-ounce packages of cream cheese. And I use, I think I told you earlier, I think it's about 3/4 cup of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. Make sure your cream cheese is room temperature and beat it at low speed with a mixer. So you're going to get all the lumps out, and it's going to be 2 large eggs. Make sure your eggs are room temperature because if everything's at room temperature, there's less issues of you having lumps and stuff, which is not good. And then just blend that up till it gets smooth. But in the meantime, with your crust, when you get that all ready, put it in, bake it at 350 for about 10 minutes, pull it out. By this time, you should have your crust or your filling ready. Then you immediately put that in there. I put it in and left it on the 350 and I baked it. I think it was about 20 minutes or so. And I turned it down to 325 and baked, I think, another 15, 20 minutes. I can't remember. But it's just, you still want the center of your cheesecake where it's a little jiggly, but make sure all the way up through here where I've got those marks, make sure that that's done. And this is starting to cool. It's still hot to touch on the bottom. Warm, it's not warm yet. It's still a little hot. So I'm going to wait a little bit before I put that topping on. But I'm going to go back over here to the soup now. As you can see, it's bubbling here. I think you can see, yeah, it's bubbling and cooking. So that means your potatoes and stuff are going to get done. Let me see about where they're at. The smaller you cut them, the less time it takes for them to cook. And I did, you see the cabbage isn't even done in this. It's going to take probably about an hour for this soup to get done. It won't even be done before I'm done on here. But see, I'm starting to get with these potatoes. Let me see if I can find another one here. I just dropped that one back in. Like I said, I use those little carrots, some miniature carrots. You can see them. I took the potatoes, 3 small to medium-sized potatoes, the red potatoes. I peeled them and I cut them in pieces. Let me see if I can get this with this fork. About like, no, there's a little bit of cabbage, about like this. And they're already where I can get the fork in them. So it's only going to be about another probably 10 minutes. And that will be done enough. The carrots will probably be done in about, it'll take the carrots about 10 minutes longer than it did the potatoes. But if you just let it cook about like this, like that, and you want to keep, you know, you want to make sure you stir it from the bottom so nothing is sticky or anything. And then you've got, like I said, you've got your 2 pounds of your ground beef in here with where I cooked it in that chicken bouillon, which I've already told you about. And I've got these carrots that were this size here, the little petite carrots. You can even use the smaller ones if you want to. And cut your, you cut smaller, you cut your veggies, the quicker it's going to cook. And I took about, like I said, 1/3 of a head of small head of cabbage, and I cut it up in here, and I used about 1/3 of a bag of the baby spinach. And then over here I have I'm gonna start adding this in. I have the green beans that I drained. I have the red, and I managed to get this right to where it's going to be about a pot full. Okay, like I said, I took 1 can of red beans, 1 can of black beans, and a can of regular cut green beans. I rinsed them really good and drained them. And like I said, I had about a 1/2 bag of peas, frozen peas, had a 1/2 bag of corn, frozen corn, and I had, I don't know, maybe not even 1/3 of a bag, about a 1/4 of a bag of these little carrot slivers left. So you can put a lot of things like that. And if you have some cooked vegetables, say that you've got, let's say you've got some corn, you've got a small bowl. Oh, let me give you an example. Say you've got a bowl maybe this size left where you cook green beans or corn, mixed vegetables, anything like that. You can take that and just add it in here and put it in at the end for your soup, since it's been cooked, already cooked and stuff. Just watch your seasonings again, because, you know, you don't want to over season everything. And especially watching that salt, which I got a whole mouthful of pepper a while ago, so be careful. I didn't even check to make sure I had that stirred in good. I should have. That's on me. And then you can see I'm already down. I've got maybe, a 1/4 of that thing of vegetable soup left. V8, generic V8 juice left. And it's going to make a full pot of soup, guys. And like I said, you've got your black beans, you've got your red beans, green beans, you've got peas, you've got corn, you've got carrots, you've got potatoes, you have onion, you have cabbage, you have spinach. I mean, you're getting your vegetables, and then you have, of course, you don't even have to use 2 pounds of the extra long ground beef. You could get by with 1 and just put more vegetables if you want it to stretch your budget a little bit on that. I mean, I've done that before, actually. And then, like I said, just let it, you're going to go ahead and add that juice in as this cooks a little bit more when it gets done. So I usually take a lid and I turn it down to just a hair above medium, and I go ahead and just let it cook, because that's going to, with it covered, just like with your fried potatoes, when you cover it with the lid, you can get them cooked, and then you can take that lid off when you're browning your fried potatoes. Take the lid off, and that way it browns. So, all right, let me get my glasses, see all here, so I can say hi, and then I'll check and see if we can do that to the cheesecake. Hi, Panthera. I'm on. Let me see who else here. Oh, lost signal. She lost her signal. Okay, Way's not wanting it. That's right. Anyway, guys, like I said, tomorrow I'm going to do the ham fried rice and the pimento cheese spread. My daughter found something a little bit more interesting. I'll show you with some cream cheese and, you know, those little bags of the little miniature colored peppers you buy, like cleaning them out and cutting them in half. And, well, I'll show you. She's using, instead of putting the stuff in cream cheese and this seasoning stuff and for a topping for bagels, she did it in some of those peppers earlier. We're going to clean out some jalapenos too and do it. This is what it is. It's called bagel not included. This stuff is good. And another thing that Panthera, she introduced me to last year, and I make myself sick on it all the time when I eat it, but it's a raspberry jalapeno jelly, and you take just a square of the cream cheese, and you can take it out and just put some of that jelly over it and put crackers around it. Oh my gosh, that stuff is really good. I really enjoy it. And they're just some quick appetizers. Those are some quick things you can make. I think that stuff would, and then you can take your pimento cheese spread and put it in some celery, put that on a plate, you know, like to make up some quick things. And there's a few other things that I have. I take some of the small, this is small cooked shrimp that you can get in those bags in the store. And I take and get an 8-ounce package of cream cheese, and I put it on lettuce, well, lettuce leaves. And I take and mix up, like you would mix up your seafood sauce, like the ketchup and horseradish, and a little bit of lemon in it. I put that in there, and then I take and put that on top of that cream cheese, and then we take those. They're already cooked, those little cooked baby shrimp thing, and you just take them and thaw them, make sure they're rinsed good and everything, and pat them dry real good. Put those on top and serve those with crackers. Those are good too. Those are just some quick appetizers that, if you need some ideas, which I'm going to be showing you some more things to be doing. So anyway, we'll do the ham fried rice and the pimento cheese spread tomorrow. On Wednesday, I will do the thin fried pork chops, homemade mashed potatoes, the pumpkin cheese, cream cheese roll, and the peas. And then, like I said, toward this weekend, I'm thinking about doing some German potato salad and some deviled eggs and baked bean and some kind of meat, maybe for Labor Day on that Monday. And then that Saturday or Sunday, I haven't decided, I'll do the cabbage rolls, because those are interesting and they're not that hard to make. I know I still haven't done stuffed peppers. I still got to do stuffed peppers. People wanting to see, those are good also. So anyway, this, like I said, back to the soup. You know, we've gone through it. It's on here. It's cooking about 4:30, 4:45. That soup's going to be ready. Also really good with this is to fix a small pan of cornbread. It's really good with it. Or, you know, like crackers, or you can get the, at Walmart, you can get that fresh French bread. Just take and cut it in hunks with butter on it to serve with it. It's really good. Or just crackers. And so here we are. We have to get back over here to, here we go, that cheesecake. Shoot. I'm trying to get the best. Okay, that's probably better right there. Anyway, here's the cheesecake. And I'm going to go ahead and put this pineapple topping on it. I'm going to put it right back in the refrigerator so it can stay good and full. But this is your pineapple. I just am not a big fan of putting anything but chocolate that's a powder in cheesecakes, because a lot of times your cheesecake for some reason doesn't set up, and I'm not a professional baker. I'm not a baker. So I'm not a chef that knows how to do all this fancy stuff. So mine's just basic home cooking. So that's what I do, but most of the stuff I make, I don't use, oh no, I'm gonna make some homemade brownies, or, yeah, that they made back in the 1950s when I was in school. A lot of times I'll use brownie mixes, but I just want to make something quick. But usually, unless I make that pistachio cake, Watergate cake, I'll use a cake mix for that and for the Watergate pudding salad stuff. But I don't use cake mixes that often. Sometimes with an angel food cake, but they don't do too good here in Texas, so I just don't really bother with them. Let me get this over here. So anyway, there's the cheesecake. I'm gonna put some foil on that. And I'm gonna get that in the refrigerator set up good. And then we will have, like I said, we'll have the soup tonight. It's a vegetable beef soup and the cheesecake. So I hope y'all enjoy the recipes and stuff, and I'll see you tomorrow. It's not going to be a long video for the ham fried rice, but go ahead, if you're going to cook with me, go ahead and dice you up some ham or even some of the Spam. If you want to use it, and get you some whatever veggies you want to put in. I'm going to have some shredded cabbage, and of course I'm going to put a little onion, some green onion in there, and then I have the peas and carrots, the bag of frozen peas and carrots that's going to be thawed out. And I use a little bit of chicken stock. Of course, you're going to need a couple eggs to scramble it on there. And then, of course, your soy sauce and sesame oil. Go ahead and cook your rice off, today, and let it cool in the morning at the latest. You need it to get nice and cold. I mean, chill all the way through. Fresh white or fresh rice, it just doesn't do good for fry. It's going to get all gummy and lump up and everything. You need it to be cool, and it's really better to do it a day ahead if you can. That's just a suggestion. So anyway, I'm done for today. Let me see, I'll take you back over. Show you again if anybody wants to know here. Here again is the soup, and it's starting to cook really good here. And in a little bit, you can see where it's cooked now a little bit. I'm going to add the rest of that V8 juice stuff in there. Go ahead and add it in a little bit more at a time, because as it cooks those vegetables, you're going to be able to get that whole bottle in there, like I said. So anyway, I hope y'all try these recipes and enjoy them. And let me know. Sometimes come back in the comments, guys, and let me know where you're at on those things. And thanks, everybody, for being here. And I will see you all later. Thank you a lot, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.